North and South Shore of Boston. We have the Nantasket Beach Resort, which was one of our newest properties. And then we have Ocean House Hotel at Bass Rocks. They're both, again, lovely coastal properties, conveniently located, each of them about 45 minutes from Boston. And lastly, our two properties located in mountain areas are the Snake River Lodge and Spa in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And this is a 4-diamond full-service property. And then we have the North Conway Grand Hotel, again, a full-service property, providing food and beverage and large banquet space as well. North Conway is located in the White Mountain regions of New Hampshire, near Mount Washington. And like I said, we have lots of additional photos of the properties, of the amenities, and they're all located on our website that you can take a look at in more detail. All right, so let's talk about our LEAD program. So our LEAD program is our professional development program for college students. These programs provide leadership, education, advancement, and developmental opportunities. Our LEAD programs include our internship program for undergraduates, as well as our management and training program for upcoming graduates. Both programs provide very hands-on experience, along with professional growth and development opportunities. So the first program that I will talk about is our manager and training program. And our manager and training program is for recent or upcoming grads. And this provides an in-depth introduction to the day-to-day hotel operations. And it gives you throughout this year-long program a developmental increase of management skills and responsibilities. And then the goal of the program is that upon completion, you'll be ready to transition into a management or supervisory role within Newport Hotel Group. So some people ask, is the MIT program a good fit for me? As a Newport Hotel Group MIT, you will need to travel throughout the program. And it's not a set rotation, so it's really the perfect opportunity for somebody who is extremely flexible. You could be placed at any of our locations throughout New England or Wyoming throughout the year-long program. So a lot of our trainees will frequently comment about how they've benefited from working in different hotel type styles, some being full service, some being, not full service. They talk about the, really liking to be learning and exposed to different management styles by working with our different managers at different properties. And then they also comment about the guidance that we provide to our MITs throughout the program. We actually provide a written outline for each of our 3 phases. And this acts as a guide to ensure that you are learning and developing the skills in as many areas as possible through each of the 3 phases of the program. Developmental guidance and feedback will be provided throughout the program as well. Each participant, so each of our MITs, works very closely with a program mentor, who could be myself or one of my 2 colleagues in training and recruitment. And this mentor is really available to contact with any questions, concerns, completion of the action plans, regardless of your assigned location. And so that person is really kind of your off-property contact person. Our MITs work very closely with our general managers, our human resource managers, and department managers throughout the program, no matter what hotel they're at. One of the really neat things about the MIT program is, although it is in hotel operations, we do allow for a concentration in the second phase of the program. And areas that we do concentrations would be sales, accounting, and human resources. So this is going to give you the opportunity to even broaden your training scope even more. The program provides monthly feedback sessions, goal setting, and a lot of professional development training. And this allows individuals to be ready to manage their own department or quite possibly their own hotel upon completion of the MIT program. This program is a paid full-time program, and it requires a 6-day work week. We do have employee lodging available to rent at all of the locations in which the MITs would be assigned. All right, and then to move on to our internship program. Our internship program provides, again, rotational hands-on experience. At a minimum, it's a 3-month commitment and provides exposure to the front desk and housekeeping. It's not a set rotation. And so what that means is you could essentially be in one position or department longer than another. The idea of the program is to provide you with exposure to all of the positions in both of those departments. Just as an MIT, our interns receive a written outline of their program, and this will ensure, a balanced perspective of the operations. It gives our interns goals, tasks to work with, in addition to what they're going to be learning day to day at the hotel operationally. Again, we provide our interns with as well personal development training and professional development training. And this has been one of the favorite aspects for past interns. We actually were able to work very closely with our internship program this past summer. And our interns wanted to have information on things like revenue management and sales. And so we actually really kind of honed in on our remote trainings, and we're providing that weekly to the interns and MITs. And we had our CDO come on and talk about our P&L. We had our revenue manager come on and talk about how we do our rates. Our senior human resource manager came on one week and we talked about how we do our staffing programs for the entire year. So there was a lot of other additional training that we like to provide the interns and MITs. So how would you benefit from an internship with us? Not only will you learn what it takes to be effective at the front desk, as well as a room attendant or a house person, but you're going to learn the impact both positions have on managing a successful department, as well as the hotel as a whole, and how crucial the communication between these two departments is. Our interns work very closely with our managers, and so they're able to understand what future opportunities might be of interest to them after graduating. Again, our internships are paid full-time positions that provide a great experience to market yourself for future opportunities, which we hope will be with us. And the written outline that you follow is essentially the first part of our MIT program. So if you recall, I talked about there being 3 phases of the MIT program. So our internship is technically the first phase of our MIT program. So after graduation, if you were to come back to us after doing an internship program, you would be joining the MIT program in phase 2. And that gets you even kind of ahead of the game in completing the MIT program. We don't make you start over, yet that internship counts towards that first phase of your MIT program. And then basically, again, we have lodging for those who need housing. If you need to utilize our housing, you would have to be flexible to travel to a location that we assign you. So that, again, that could be Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Wyoming. So here's our team. Leanne McCall, she's our lead training and recruitment manager. Myself, Erin, and Angela. And please feel free to take down our contact information. we love to set up times to chat with students, kind of, even if it's not, the exact time that you're looking for. We always, we're recruiting right now into the summer. So we are already hiring interns at MITs for summer start dates. And if it's not the right time for an opportunity right now, we would still love to get to know you, know what your interests are, and hopefully, we can work with you in the future. We'd love to open it up too for questions if there are any.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Erin. So yeah, if you guys are, if any of you have any questions for Erin, and you're comfortable with us turning on your microphone, we would love to hear from you. Just go ahead and use that hand raise feature that is found at the bottom of your screen under chat, and just let us know, or you can just send a message through chat, and then we can just answer your questions there. All right, so we are going to hear from Miss Emily Evans. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Hey, I just thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this for us. Second of all, I just wanted to know where you started. If you started with Newport as in an internship position, or if you were starting in an MIT position, or if neither.
Okay, great question. So I actually started with Newport Hotel Group. I went to school for a very broad management degree, and I started with Newport Hotel Group shortly after college. And I actually started as an admin assistant in the human resource department.
Okay.
I loved HR, and I didn't really realize that until I had gotten into the opportunity. And I think I loved, what I loved most about it was, meeting people from all over the world, and getting to be and getting to help them. So that eagerness allowed me to want to do more and take on more. And so I actually began to be promoted from within. And I eventually was promoted to human resource manager, where I oversaw 4 of our properties in Rhode Island and in the Cape. And so I would travel between the 2 properties. I left Newport Hotel Group for a little bit, and then have returned back, and now am the training and recruitment manager for Newport Hotel Group. And I think that's what I love so much about the organization, is that we work so hard to promote our employees from within. And so our goal, one of our main goals, not only is to provide, obviously the highest level of service to our guests, but we want to develop the team that we have. And so, like I said, so many of our top managers have started with us in more hourly like positions, and have taken on more responsibility, and are now in management roles.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks.
That was a great question.
It was. So many people ask me that. It makes me feel so special. Thank you.
All right, so we actually have another question from Chad. And his question is, what skills found successful for the internship position, and how do you evaluate performance? So I guess first question first, like, what skills do you find successful for the internship position?
I definitely find that people that have had some type of either hospitality or customer service background, or some past work experience is helpful. It is a full-time position when you join us, so kind of having that idea of what a typical work schedule is like. And I also think flexibility is a key, and a positive attitude. I know that many students haven't worked at the front desk before, or have not worked in housekeeping, and that is okay. We will provide you with a significant amount of training. It is on the job training. And so, you're learning as you are working. But I think having a positive attitude and being flexible are 2 things that I think in this industry will serve you to no end. Everything in the hospitality industry changes all the time. I come to work with a plan every day of what I need to get done, and then every day it changes. And so, having that flexibility to say, okay, I'm going to put that aside for today. I'm going to pick up something different. that will serve you as, you know, in any role that you do in this industry, for sure. So I think that those are definitely qualities that we look for in interns. You know, because there's not a set rotation in the positions that you're going to be working while you're with us, that requires a level of flexibility as well. You may have more time at the front desk or more time in housekeeping, but the idea is to get you that exposure. And then how we're kind of managing it, to kind of go on to your second question, is that, you know, you are working through that set of goals that we give you when you start. And so by working through those goals and having them signed off by your manager, you know, that is your tracking mechanism on your performance, essentially. It is a short period of time that you're with us. And so I think that those goals really will kind of take you outside the scope of just the normal day-to-day front desk housekeeping positions and give you a little bit more. And so, you know, you're monitoring those goals on your own. I mean, of course, we'll follow up with you. We'll ask you how they're going. But that's something that you need to, as an employee or as an intern, kind of work towards, and do that for yourself.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for your question, Chad. Now we're going to hear from Yen, and then we're going to hear from Taylor Grace. So Yen, if you want to go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Yen and I'm a senior majoring in hospitality. So I do have a question for Erin.
Yes.
MIT program. So you did mention that people who are enrolled in MIT programs can be rotated throughout like different locations, and
Yes.
like a set number of location that you'll be rotated, and then like how long is each rotation gonna be?
Okay, great question as well. So this is where the really needing to be flexible comes in, because there's not a set number of hotels that you'll visit, and there's not a set time period in which you'll be at each hotel. And so, you know, we like to say to people, you know, travel light. All of our MITs travel pretty light. Our housing is furnished where you'll be staying. We provide, you know, there's either a kitchen or a kitchenette, and we provide you with, you know, pots, pans, utensils. The common areas are lightly furnished. And then we provide you with sheets and towels, so you're not having to travel around with a lot of those things. And so I would anticipate, you know, you will likely work in every one of the 4 states. But it's hard to say exactly how many hotels you'll be visiting and how long you'll be staying. I think why we do this rotation is to provide you with exposure to different properties that have different amenities, different service levels. And also, it really gives you the opportunity to work with more of our management team and really see their management style, to kind of develop for yourself what management style you're gonna want to utilize yourself when you are managing a team. So it's really helpful to you know, interact with these different managers, be trained by these different managers, to kind of almost develop your own particular style.
Gotcha. Cool. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Yen, for your question. And then we have a question from Taylor Grace. One of her questions, and I'm assuming that this is for the internship position. So like, what are the separate positions within each department? So like, that's housekeeping and front desk, like with the intern experience.
Okay, that's a great question too. So I'll break it down by department. So front desk, our front office would be working as a front desk agent and a night auditor. So we have 3 specific shifts at the front desk. We have our 7 to 3, 3 to 11, and then that night audit position is the overnight shift, the 11 to 7. So you can anticipate working all 3 of those shifts at the front desk. You know, a front desk agent does, you know, check in, check out, assigning rooms, working with our sales department if we have, you know, events in house or group blocks. You know, they're that main first point of contact at the hotel when the guests arrive. So it could be, you know, providing area recommendations, you know, handling guest issues, you name it, helping just pretty much with amenities if guests need amenities in the hotel, to working in housekeeping, where you could be working and will be working as a laundry attendant. So that's washing and folding linen and terry and delivering it throughout the hotel, working as a house person. And that person would be stocking closets and carts, assisting the room attendants in the rooms, and cleaning public areas and spaces, and then working as a room attendant, cleaning guest rooms, and learning our room cleaning sequence. And that can, you could be cleaning up to 16 guest rooms per day. So it is a very, very hands-on opportunity. And how I like to look at it is, in order to be a successful manager, it's very difficult to do that if you yourself don't know what your employees are doing on a day-to-day basis. And so this program really gives you that exposure to what each person in each position is doing. You have to think of it too. At some point when you're managing a team, you're going to be training individuals as well. And how much easier will it be for you as a manager if you already know, the basics of these positions, where you can run the machines. If you have a call out, you can get behind the front desk and help your team. If it's, they've got a line at the door for check-ins, that's the type of manager that retains employees. One that's hands-on and willing to jump in and help. And that's how our managers at all of our properties, that's how we operate as an organization.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for your question. So I think we're going to hear from Lauren Gilvin, and then we'll hear from Benedicte. So just get ready, you guys. Lauren, if you want to go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey, Erin, thanks for doing this for us and
Yes,
giving
of
some
course.
information. I just graduated from Georgia State with a hospitality degree, and I was just wondering how the application process was for the MIT program, and then how the transition goes between finishing that program and transitioning into an actual supervisory role or managerial role within the Newport Hotel Group. And do you apply for a job at one of the hotels or within the group, or is it just you just sort of kind of work your way in? And then if there's nothing there for you, I guess, do you guys help with placement for other hotel groups, I guess?
Sure. So I'll try and answer that to the best that I can. And then if I am missing any parts of the question, just we'll take a step back. Okay. First of all, congratulations on graduating. That's a huge achievement. And I'm so happy that you got to connect and you're still kind of connected with the school. That's awesome. And so I would say for people that are interested in applying in either the MIT program or the internship program, you can email me directly with your resume and I will respond to you and get you set up for a remote interview. You can apply through Handshake as well. We're checking that, a few times a day, so that and that's another option as well. I would say, emailing me will probably be a quicker way to get through. But what was the next part of the question? I apologize.
Sorry, that was like a really long question.
No, that's great. I don't want to miss anything for you.
The transition after, or when you're like kind of working your way towards the end of the program, transitioning from being in the program to actually being a part of
Okay.
the Newport Hotel.
That's great. Perfect. So after, when we get towards the end of the programs around, in that third phase, that's when we really start kind of meeting with the MIT. I think a lot of MITs are surprised, kind of towards the end of the program, that they might be more interested in one area than another that they would have not thought of when they entered the program. And so it's, we meet with each MIT, we sit down, where would you like, what position do you see yourself in? Where would you want to be as far as location goes? Obviously, it's about, the positions would be based on what's available at the time you complete the program, and how flexible you are to travel. Our locations, like I said, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Jackson Hole. And so, we have opportunities that become available. And so, our main goal is to get our MITs into an opportunity with us that is what they're going to be successful in, and what they're interested in. And some people, will come into the program and say, you know what, I want to be a sales manager. And then they get in and they get into housekeeping, and they love the systematic day-to-day structure of the housekeeping department. And, then they're like, you know what, I want to be a housekeeping manager. I want to start my career as a housekeeping manager. And so, I think that, I hope that answers your question. As far as, we will work with each individual MIT based on kind of what their wants, and then what's available with us at the completion of the program.
It does. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course.
Awesome. Thank you, Lauren. So next we're going to hear from Benedicte, but I think he's having difficulties with his microphone. So I think one of the questions that he has is, well, first of all, like, he's majoring in finance, and he wants to know, like, what's the difference between like a regular like financial job like outside of the hospitality industry, and like what would working in finance within a hotel look like for him. So like what kind of I guess skills do you think a finance student should be aware of that they might not have been trained in like in school now to bring into Newport?
Well, I know for us, first of all, to do the MIT program, for internships, we only have them in operations. And so depending on what year you are, if you are looking, if you're about to graduate or have recently graduated and are looking at an MIT program, our MIT program currently is in operations. That being said, you do have the ability to do that concentration. And so if accounting, is one aspect, but that would be, hotel accounting, working with, our rates, working with, vendors on our, on all of our supplies, our purchase order process, accounts receivable. I'm not an accountant expert by any means. That's why I stuck with HR. But definitely, it would be more suited towards that. I don't know what type of financial other industries have, or what those positions would look like. I just know that even if you were to want to concentrate in accounting with us, you still would have that ops background. And again, I think that just opens you up to even more possibilities.
Thank you so much. I think we have another question in here. It might have got lost in the chat. Okay, so I have like a really interesting question here. So a student was asking, among like all the positions within, like the hotel industry, which one is the best one and which one is the hardest one? And I just thought that was a really interesting question to have to answer.
That's a really hard one. I would say it just depends on the person and what your strengths are, what you enjoy doing. I would say to any, to me, being at the front desk would be hard. To others, maybe being in housekeeping would be hard. It's, I think what's so neat about the program is that, like I said, people will say, wow, front desk is not for me. Or I love housekeeping. I cannot believe how much I love it. And so I think it's kind of neat in that you get exposed to the different positions, so you can kind of figure that out for yourself as to what would be the hardest. I think those harder positions are definitely, I would see more as a challenge, and something that I would want to develop myself in if I found it difficult. And so I think in all of the positions, we're challenged every day. And we can have, days that are doing tasks that are harder than others. But definitely, I think I think it's dependent on the person and what they enjoy doing, what their strengths are, on all of that.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. So I actually have one more question here. You know, because of everything that's happened, there have been a lot of technology for a lot of different positions within the hospitality industry. But like, have you seen like any major changes or any major influences with technology upon like the internship or the MIT positions? And like, should students be aware like of any of these drastic changes?
I think one of the biggest changes that we saw, and we kind of used it to our advantage, was how everything was going so remote. I mean, typically, you know, our trainings that we were providing to our MITs was more on a monthly basis. And we were actually able, with technology and scheduling, to up that to weekly. And so we were able to provide, weekly trainings throughout the entire summer. And so I think that it's been a benefit to us. Obviously we are making changes by the minute based on, regulations in each state as far as COVID is concerned. And, really trying to be on top of all of the changes and the safety requirements for each property to ensure the safety and wellness of our team and our guests. And so we've had to improvise, we've had to make changes, even with our amenities, for example, not all, we can't have everybody, only certain amounts of people in the pool at a time. And, that's caused some challenges for some guests. And so really developing ways to kind of communicate that to the guests, coming up with different systems. We've reinvented our entire room cleaning sequence and our cleaning protocols, which were very extensive to begin with. And then again, just making sure that our team is safe, doing safety self-health checks before coming to work. Masks are now part of our standard of our uniform program. And, just the way we're not entering the guest rooms when there is a guest in the room. Stayover service is very limited to if guests are needing amenities in the room, we are delivering them and, handing them to the guest rather than entering the room when the guest is there. So we've really tried to, we've had to adapt, and I think that every business that wants to be successful has to do that right now. We've been very fortunate, based on our business type, to have kept the doors open throughout the entire closure. We had 4 properties fully operational, through the whole shutdown, and we did not have to rescind any of our offers last summer to our interns and to our MITs. And we actually had the biggest program that we've had to date. So I think, some larger organizations unfortunately did have to cancel, these programs. And we were really fortunate that we were able to keep them alive and be super successful at it and actually have one of the busiest summer seasons on the books for Newport Hotel Group. So knock on wood, that was awesome. And we're super psyched for another, great summer, great fall, great winter.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. That's really great to know that you guys are like up and running and ready and willing to go forward with all of your MIT and your internship programs. And I'm pretty sure like a lot of students like would appreciate the opportunity. Maddie, typically, so like how many interns do you normally look for each location? And are the interns working in a team or are they usually just per location?
Right. So, but based on the season, our numbers vary for the amount of interns that we hire. And then, I would say definitely as far as teams, it is more individual, but you could be working, say, for example, you're working in housekeeping and, you could have and you're a room attendant and you're cleaning rooms, a house person might come in and help. or your manager might come and help. If you're working at the front desk, you might have a mid person on where you're working together, or there's two people scheduled at the same time. But I would say generally you're kind of working and training, learning the room cleaning sequence in housekeeping, and kind of trying to really work towards meeting some productivity goals. And that's kind of how we clean our rooms, and the amount of time we have in each room to get that done. So I would say it is more independent. I would say definitely it's also a group, if that makes sense. You're going to be living and working with these individuals, and so they really do. I was really fortunate. I get to mentor a large number of our interns in Cape Cod this summer, and they really formed some pretty neat bonds with students from all over the United States. And that was one of the main highlights, I think, for them, was kind of meeting different students, different programs, and really learning learning the ins and outs of the hotel.
Cool. Thank you so much for that question, Maddie. Thank you, Erin. Does anyone have any other questions? Yeah, we're gonna wait for other questions to come through, but I'm pretty sure you said this right at the beginning, for just in case, like those who might not have heard, all of those properties were so beautiful.
Yes.
So, and I know that if a student is doing housing, that they basically they won't be able to choose like which properties they're going to, but if they don't do housing, can they just say, "Ooh, I know which one I want to go to. This is the one." Like, are they able to select?
They are, if they have housing arranged. Keep in mind that all of these areas where our hotels are located are resort-like destinations. So housing is extremely limited and extremely expensive. And so our housing is done at a very affordable rental rate. Some people just happen to have, especially in the New England areas where we do a lot of, we have a lot of contact with local universities. People might have a summer home in the Cape, or their grandmother might live in Newport. And so, they might stay with that person. Acquiring housing can be difficult. And so just keep that in mind. Generally, our housing is, located in close proximity to the hotel. It is, either public trans or walking distance, from work to housing. And, the rates for the housing are very affordable. They're done at $125 per week. And that includes, like I said, the furnished unit, utilities, and, the kitchen is equipped with, cooking supplies, linen and terry. And then what we actually do is, if you complete your program in full, either the internship or the MIT program, we actually refund you $25 for every single week that you lived in the housing. You just need to complete the program, and the housing just needs to be in the same condition it was when you arrived. So housing turns out to be $100 per week, and to live in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is almost like an Aspen type environment, it's pretty affordable.
A really good deal. I might have to.
No, I wish I had that deal. Yes.
So I'm not too sure if we went into this, but students might be asking, like, how do they apply? Like, should they just email you directly, or is there a website that they should apply towards?
Yep, they can email me directly. I'm the one really conducting the majority of our interviews, along with Angela and Leanne too. But if people want to just shoot me an email to set that up, I would love that. And then I don't know how I can get other people's emails too, but we do like an email blast. You can even follow us on social media, and we kind of just keeps everybody kind of in the loop of what we're up to, as far as recruiting events and any remote trainings that we might be having. So it's a great way to stay informed too.
Yeah. you know, if you guys have the option to, go ahead and take a screenshot of this screen so that you can get everyone's emails, and just so that you can make sure that like right after this event, you are able to send Erin an email, send over your resume, and let her know, you know, like which you're interested in for sure. All right, so we have time for like one more question. So let's see here. So another one from Maddie. So does the summer program run through specific months? So like, is a student starting from like May to August, or like can they select which ones?
You know, our start dates are pretty flexible. Generally though, we are looking for, you know, before Memorial Day weekend in May, and then into August. And so the later in August, you know, the better, but, you know, we can kind of talk when we do the interview process about those dates. I would definitely say, you know, when we set up the interview, kind of have that ready. Take a look at your calendar, when school starts, when school ends, so that we can kind of talk about a date, and come together, because they are flexible in that it doesn't have to be exactly May 10th. Or, you know, May 15th, we can kind of work together on that one. It just is a minimum of 3 months requirement. It can be longer, but it has to be at least 3 months.
All right, awesome. Okay, do we have any other questions from chat? Do you guys want to come on, or like, you know, turn off your mic and say something, or turn on your mic and say something, or in the chat? Please feel free to let us know.
Sorry, Shannon, do you mind if I ask one more?
Oh no, please go ahead.
Erin, you said that the internship, it's minimum 3 months, and the MIT program, it's a year-long commitment.
Yes.
Minimum year.
Yes, correct.
And that one also is starting in the summer, so summer to summer.
MITs can start anytime.
Okay, all right, thanks.
So I'm recruiting, you know, there's not like a specific time of year. We hire MITs and interns year round. I just know typically, you know, everybody has probably their class schedules already all signed up, and that summer will most likely be convenient. If people are available to do internships over the winter, we're definitely open to that, as well as the MIT program.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
All right. Okay, so I see Erin like put her email down in the chat. So if you guys want to like quickly copy that for later on in the afternoon to send her an email with your resume, please go ahead and do that. But Erin, like before we end, like, do you have any like key takeaways that you want to just like reinforce and remind everyone about these positions, or just anything that you want to end with?
Just please feel free to reach out. I love just making connections. Like I said, even if this isn't the right time for you to do an opportunity with us, it's always great to kind of have a resource and a connection. So, you know, reach out. I'm happy to chat with anybody, and we'll get you kind of all scheduled in as best as I can, as soon as I can. And I just really appreciate your time. I know everybody is busy with school, probably work as well. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I hope to chat with you further.
Okay, thank you so much for being here, Erin.
Thank you for having me. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you guys. All right, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.